Hello and welcome along to part 3 of our DualSense mod playlist. Part 1 was changing the decorative plate here and the thumbstick rings. So you can see I've got it blue here and the white thumbstick rings around there. Part 2 was changing this, the touchpad. And now this part, what we're going to do is we're going to be changing all of the face buttons and the triggers. Okay, if you want to see any of those other videos, and if you haven't looked at the introduction video, I suggest you to go and do, because it just gives a few tips on moving forward with this modification. They'll all be linked below. Okay, so when you get all this stuff comes from ExtremeRate, and when you get it, you get all of your buttons, obviously, and then you also get a prying tool, and you also get a screwdriver. I won't be using that. I'll be using this one. And it's also a good idea to get some tweezers as well, because we'll be taking out some ribbons, and I've got my mat here and I've got my my phone to be taking the photos with. Okay, so let's jump into changing this then, and the first thing we do, as with all of them, is we're taking this bit off. So you get your prying tool and you get it under there and pop that off, and the same with this side. Get your prying tool under there, pop that off, and then just run it along there and just make sure once all that's open, you're good to go. And then you just pull it up and just give it a little bit of a wiggle and out it comes. Okay, so put that up there. Next up, we're going to be taking off the bumpers. So these two, easiest way to do that, get the prying tool again, pulling down this trigger and just popping it up, and these come out really easily. And we won't be needing that again because that's what we're changing, so put that to one side. And similarly the other side, pull that down and pull it out, and again put it to one side because we won't be needing that again. Okay, next up we're going to be doing these two screws here. So let's get the camera up for photograph number 1, and let's point to the screw. There we go. Pop those two out, put them onto number 1. Next up, 2 under there, that screw there, and that screw there. So let's get this here and get the camera, take a photo. We're doing that one. Okay, pop those 2 out, pop it on there. Right, once that's done, we're going to be taking off this back plate now, and the way to do that is by opening up this side and then this side. So get your prying tool in and just make sure it pops open. So once it's open all the way fully there, spin it over and do the same this side. Tool in, open it up like that. Then once you're at that stage, over this way, and then you've got these 2 here, that one there and that one there, just pop that up and pop that up. And once they've done, it will come off. Put your thumb onto the trigger there, push the trigger in to give yourself a bit of, and then you should just be able to pull it up a little bit, and then do the same the other side. And then wiggle, 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 off it comes. Okay, put that to one side. And here we are inside the controller. Next up, take the battery off, really easy. Take the battery off and pull the cable out. Don't worry about not knowing which way the battery goes in. This bit here only goes in one way, so it's not going to be hard to put it back in. Put that up there out of the way. Next up, we're just going to take this out. So this pops off here, the ribbon comes out, and then pull it out. Let's put that bit off. And then we're going to do another screw. So we're going to do this screw in here in the battery compartment. There's just the one screw. So again, if we get our camera, point to the screw, there, lovely. And then once that's done, this black plastic bit just comes off. Next up from here, there are 4 cables, 1, 2, 3 and 4. You need to pop all of those out. With the thicker ones, you could probably use your fingers, but the smaller ones, get in there with the tweezers. Be easier to take that out with these. And once all 4 of those, just get behind, get your fingers onto the thumbsticks and push it up through the holes and fold it back. Just be careful, don't pull it because it's still attached to this bit. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take off 2 more screws. So these 2 here. So that one and that one. And then 2 more. We're going to take off this silver one here and this silver one here. Now, just for convenience, there's a bit right in the middle here. This you can take out. When I first did this, that was actually stuck to this piece here, so it might be stuck to there. If not, it will just be in there. So just pull that out and put it to one side. Fold this back over. So this plastic bit here, all this black plastic bit will now just come off. And just make sure that when you pull it off, this here, this ribbon cable, it just pokes in through the hole, okay? This will cause you a lot of grief if you're not on top of it, because it needs to be poked through when you put it back on. Okay, so when you're pulling it off and put it back on, just make sure this one here. Okay, so when we're at this stage, we can start changing over our buttons. I'm going to be using the blue buttons. You can use whichever colours you've bought. Go and have a look in the links below for all the different colours of buttons and stuff. So we're going to do the D-pad and the 4 buttons and the options and the share button. So all you do is you pop this off and you pop this bit off and then take out the D-pad, and if you notice it's got a little bit at the bottom there, so we know that this will go in this way because it's got a little bit at the bottom. Just drop that straight in and then pull this one out. Now it's got to match this one, so pick up one of them because they are both different. See if it matches. That looks like it matches to that one, so just doubly making sure, yeah, that's not the same, so we know it's 100% this one. And then just pop it back in the same way that we took that one out. Put that to one side and then pop this one out and just doubly make sure that it's that way. There we go, so they match. Put that to one side and then just drop this one in. So there. Okay, so these buttons here, you can't go wrong because they've got all these kind of like sequences on there. There's only one button that actually fit that. So pull that one out and then look for the one that matches it. Is it that one? That looks like it matches it. I might have hit the nail on the head on the first one. Yeah, okay, so I've got that one straight away. Now we'll pull that one out. Let's see if we can find one that matches that. Is it that one? I don't know. Is it that one? No, it's definitely not that one. Is it that one? No, it's that one there. Yeah, it's that one there. And we're going to get this one. Which one matches that? Yep, that one. And then this one. Pull that one out, and this should match like that. There we go. Okay, so there's only one way they can fit in. You just got to match it up. Then put these back. Pushing down just so it almost feels like it clips in. There's some dots in there. Just make sure that they've all been pushed through, and that will hold them all down. Okay, so that's done for that bit. Now we need this bit back. because now we're going to do the triggers. So we're going to do one trigger first, so we'll do this one. And all you do is you fold it over, and there's two screws, that one there and that one there, which we're going to take off. So let's get the camera up and take a photo of where we're doing it. There we go. And then pop them on 6. Before you take out this next one, just make sure you've kind of got your fingers behind it just to catch anything, because this will let the trigger bit loose. So now this bit, you see, just comes off. Okay, so this is the bit we need, and this is the bit we're going to be playing with. Put this bit to one side for the minute. Okay, we need to be very careful with this bit. There's a couple of really fiddly bits. So first up, come over to this side where you can see this ribbon cable and just pull it out, and there's a screw underneath. So we'll take a photo of that screw, pop that out and stick that on number 7. Then flip it over and you'll see that there are 3 screws, 1, 2 and 3. Take a photo of them and then pop all 3 of those out. Now this is where you need to be very careful. So this bit here, this top bit is kind of just like a lid, so you take that off. But what I do is whenever I take something off, I just place it up there in exactly the same position as I took it off. With this metal bit, we know the metal bit points down and left. I'm going to pull everything off to like that. Now this bit here, you're going to pull it off. I'm going to put it there like that. Now this bit here is quite important. What I would suggest you do is you take a photo of the position that it's in, so we can match it up when we put it back together. So if I get them nice and close and I take a photo of it, this bit comes out. I'm going to put it back in exactly the same way. So if I take it out, I'm going to put that back in exactly the same way. So now all you need to do is get this metal rod and just pull it out. So that just pops out, and you can take out your L2 trigger. Put that to one side, you won't be needing that again. And get your replacement L2 trigger, hook it in the bottom there, roll it up so it goes in, and then line up in there, line up that hole so you can see all the way down, and poke the metal rod back in. And it's got to go both sides, okay? So poke it in so it does go through both sides. And you'll know you've got it right because it feels like a trigger. Okay, now we're going to put all these back in, these 3 things back in. Again, we've got to be very careful, make sure they go in the right way. So let's get this piece and drop it back in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the picture and just compare it, just to make 100% sure that I've got it in, and I think I need to move it round a notch. So pull it up and move it round a notch. Yep, that looks right. So I now know that I've put that back in exactly the right way. And then this just drops in like that. And this, so here, this bit goes onto the rod. And it fits with, if you can see this, so this bit here goes onto the end of here. Like that. And you can see it working, pushing it like that. But just saying, when you take it off, just make a note of the way it looks when you take it off. That's going to be the best. That's going to be the best way of working out whether you've actually got it on correctly or not. And then it's just a case of sticking the cover back on. Once that's on, double check. The trigger seems to be okay to me. And then we're going to reverse. You can look at the photographs if you want to, but we know there's those three there going to be onto this three to hold this down. And then flip it over, and we're going to have that one screw there underneath where that ribbon cable is. And then pop this green ribbon cable back in. Okay, that bit's done. So what we're going to do now is pop it back onto there, flip it over, and then we're going to get those two screws back in those two holes there. Right, that side's done. Now we're going to move over to this side. So we're going to pop those two off. Take a photo. That would be for number 6. And again, take this bit off. So now we're going to do exactly the same process, but on this one. So what we need to do first is take that ribbon cable out and undo that screw that is underneath, and then flip it over, and we've got the 3, 1, 2 and 3. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take that off, put that on the way, and then take this top one off and put it on the same way. Take a photo of that, and then put that there. Take the metal rod out. Swap over the trigger. So R2, hook that round and poke it in there. Put the rod back in. Make sure it goes all the way through both of them. There we go. Testing it by pressing that in. Lovely. And then we're going to put this back in the same way. Okay, there we go. And then this on top. I'll finish off with the 3 screws. Once we've done those 3, flip it over, and we've got that 1 screw underneath the ribbon cable to put back. And pop the ribbon cable back in. And then we're going to attach it back to this piece. Place it on, hold it on, turn it over, 2 screws back in there. Flip it over now, and we're going to be putting it back onto this, just making sure again this cable here goes through this hole here. There we go. And once you're at this stage, we've got these 2 to do and these 2 to do. So these 2 are for there, and those 2 are for there and there. And you can do them at the same time. once they're all in, pop this bit back in the hole there, and then flip this bit over, just making sure that all the ribbon cables are out of the way before it clips in. This one out of the way. And then just make sure the thumbsticks are going through. Lovely. Got 1, 2, 3 and 4. Pop all those 4 back in. Okay, once we've done that, get this plastic bit, pop it back on there, and get the screw, goes in there. Then once that's done, we get this little piece back in. So the end piece there, that kind of hooks, you'll see it kind of hook, there's a space for it to hook down, press the spongy bit into its little hole, and then put the ribbon cable back in. There we go. Now we're going to put the battery back in, and as I said, it only goes in one way, so just put it in the way you think and it'll fit, and then go either way really, but I think that's the way that it sits. Okay, so that's in properly now, and then I'm going to be putting this back piece back on. So hook the kind of triggers over, and then it's just a case of going all the way around it and just squeezing it and just kind of moving it and fiddling it and just making sure that it kind of sits in where you think it. So it's kind of getting stuck around there, so I kind of have to force that a little bit. It's getting stuck a bit around there, so give that a bit of a wiggle. There we go, that's in, that's in, that's in. Making your way all around it. There we go, we're all in. Now we've already got 4 screws left, so first 2 into here under the bumpers. And then finally these 2 here, there and there. Next up, these R1 and R2, really simple. Put them in, push them in. Put them down, push them in, and they're done. And then finally, just need to put the decorative plate on. Again, it's always fiddly. You'll always find this is fiddly. Kind of just make sure that's it, fits in. Push it all together. And there we have it. Completed with all the buttons. Turn your PS5 on, mine's lighting up, so I know it's going to work, but I haven't got my PS5 on to test. But make sure you test it. If it doesn't work, it's most likely going to be those ribbon cables. Just do double check the adaptive triggers as well. Just because that's the fiddliest bit, just double check. But go and have a look at the website. All the different colours you can have. We're going to be changing these shells at some point, but there is my modified DualSense PlayStation 5 controller, looking really, really smart. Okay, that's everything. If you've got any questions, do leave them down below. I'll try and help you out as best as I can. Give it a go. It's not very difficult to be able to do. And go and have a look at all the playlists as well, because we can change this, the thumbstick, and the touchpad there. I hope you get on okay. I've been Console and Tech Accessories, and until the next video. Bye bye.